The other guy who was really tough to beat, obviously, you talked about it a little bit, was Chris Paul in crunch time, because their crunch time record's absurd. It's absolutely, I think it's like 21-3 or something.
Did you see that stat? I saw John Schumann on Twitter had it, where I got to look this up, where it was like basically one of the four greatest. I got it. It was one of the four greatest crunch time stats so far, clutch stats, like in the history of the league, and since they've been measuring it in 1986. Sure. It was like, I think the 07 Mavs were the only team that didn't make the finals out of the other ones, but it was, it was on that level. But they're basically 24-3 in crunch time.
Yeah.
Maybe, it's just like insane.
It was 21-2 when I looked last, and now it's like 24-3. I know it's absurd. And it's the type of thing where there's no defense against it. He's getting to that elbow jumper from 2, and you're just hoping he misses it. And you're going to get he's going to spam 4 or 5 of them over the last 3 minutes. And it's just very, very, and then if you overhelp, he's going to find someone who's rolling. I mean, he's just very difficult, really a master at that for sure. They're a frustrating team to play.
So it's Phoenix is number 1. Golden State in 2015-16, they were 30-4. Dallas in 06-07 was 32-6. The league was really weak that year, so I think that partially explains it. And then Miami 2013, 32-8. That's, to me, really good company. And the other thing, and this is why I don't think Chris has a chance for the MVP. Booker's been so good for them. He's basically been 30 a game for, 6, 7, 8 weeks. But the shots that he's getting for himself when they really need to at the end of games, like he's getting like the highest end possible 2-guard shots, and he's making them. And they just have so many different options. And then defensively, they get stops, and Bridges can guard. I mean, how many guys other than Giannis can guard 4 positions like Bridges? The list in the entire league is less than 10 or 11.
Can guard all 5.
He got all 5, yeah.
Super rare.
Yeah, so I watch them, and I'm surprised they have the same odds as Golden State. I think they should be the prohibitive favorite at this point, because they're easily going to get the 1 seed. Every playoff series is going to have to go through them, and they've shown us nothing the entire season. They got better with Biyombo and McGee. Like they're not in that Kaminsky situation that they were in last finals. Like those guys they have 6 fouls apiece. They can rim run a little. They can protect the rim a little. But I just think they're better. And I think it's another year of playing together. There's familiarity. And I would be, if they don't get injured, I would be really surprised if they didn't win the title, because I think they are the best team.
Really? I don't know. I mean, I'm not ready to call them the best team. They're definitely in the conversation. I mean, I talked about this the other day, is the idea that there's a best team and the best team wins is kind of like nonsense to me anyways. I mean, people don't realize how, there's several teams that have a chance to win a title, and one of them will win, and it doesn't necessarily mean they were now maybe they might have been the team that made their shots, therefore they were the best team then, but they're not necessarily the best team from an evaluation standpoint. But yeah, they're in the conversation.
But 2017 Golden State was the best team. They were winning. Yeah. If we do the season 10 times, they're winning 9.5 of the 10 times.
Right. But there's been so many other, the Lakers, the year they won in the bubble, they went nuclear from KCP was shooting some ridiculous number. 3. Davis,
Rondo.
All of these guys were shooting. They definitely shot outside of their career averages or out of their expectation. And so, the best team. Phoenix and Golden State are definitely head and shoulders above the other teams in the West, but I don't know. And also part of it is also just who you match up with. Phoenix may match up better against a specific East opponent, but worse against another. And it just so happens that other one advances because of how they match up. There's that part of it. There's a whole lot of, incidental things that can happen that can determine who wins. Phoenix is definitely in the conversation though, for sure.
I guess the question for me,
I just can't call him a prohibitive favorite. Maybe a favorite, not prohibitive.
All right, I'm gonna push back and zag on you. I guess my question for me is Phoenix better than people realize? Because I actually think they might be a legitimately great team. You think they started out 1-3. So since then they're 47-7. 47-7 with how deep the league is this year. And you have some weird COVID stuff too, obviously all over the place. But to me, 47-7 is you're on like a 70 win pace at that point. And the fact that over and over again, anytime they're in a game where it's tight with 4 minutes left, I feel like they're going to win. It's the first team in a while where I'm just like that. They always win these. Like, when prove to me they're not going to win. They win every time. So
no, I'm with you there. I mean, I definitely agree that in a close game, people are sleeping on how good they have been. That is 100% sure. Like,
yeah,
they have 10 losses. The next best, they're 7 games up on the next best team or something like that. I think the one thing that people are discounting though a little bit is, Paul's played 58 games, Bridges played 58 games, Booker's played 51 to 58 games. They haven't had a lot of injuries to their key guys.
right.
And so that's a part of it. But now you could say that if the same were true for some of these other teams, maybe they would. But in terms of the West, I mean, yeah, they're the best team in the West. How they match up against, I mean, that series versus Golden State, if we're lucky enough to see one, that'll be a series for the ages. That'll be great. They're a very tough team. I mean, they got 2 guys who can score from all areas of the court. That's very tough to defend against.